Welcome to Empowering Change series. Today we are looking at strategies for lasting transformation. We are looking at change that must take place. We are looking at a holistic change that must take place within. And take note, change is inevitable. It's an inevitable part of life, which could be any of the holistic approach in terms of pillars that we follow. You could be looking at your career, you could be looking at your relationships, you could be looking at your healthy, personal growth, and you could be looking at even your financial approach to life. All these things will trigger change to happen, and the change is inevitable. But for now and for today, we are not just looking at inspiring somebody. We are looking at practical strategies which will cause and mean a meaningful transformation in one's life. Practical strategies to meaningful and holistic transformation in one's life. And this is something that we are all supposed to do. Practical, practical, practical. So in other words, we want to look now to say, from a holistic approach, what changes do you want to take? More so when you look at the 2025. What changes out of my life or within my life that I want to change? I want to transform and become a better person. Because the whole idea is to improve. The question is, what strategies are you going to employ? Do you know what real changes that must take place? If you do a holistic assessment of who you are, do a holistic assessment of who I am under my spiritual life, my finances, my physical health, my relationships, my family, my strategic networks. When you look at all that, including the plowing back to the community, what changes are you looking at? What changes are you looking at? And that then causes us to look at my vision. What areas do I want to improve? Now, after identifying, for example, I can take, for example, you look at your healthy, for example. You want to say, okay, I for one, I was 120 kgs at some point. And my doctor advised to say, if you go along at this pace, come next time, according to your current reading, come next time, we are going to give you a drug. My mindset says no. My mindset then said no, which is 7-8 years ago. And what is it that, what would it take to improve so that I don't take and I don't go on to this recommended drug? Then my other friend, medical doctor, says, the readings are fairly good for now. If you do something about it, you definitely will not be given that drug or that medicine or that prescription. And then I went on. Some of us know, if you go onto our website, onto our social media platform, you'll see me skipping, you'll see me on the gym, you see me running, you see me doing all sorts of things. That was a reaction, and that was something that caused the change in me. Now I average that 95 plus minus 95 kgs. That meant a commitment from 120. Now, all what I'm saying is that change, that mindset becomes very critical to say, when you are cold and when you are, when there is reason to change, let it be so. I was only taking one example under physical and wellness that I personally committed myself to. And what of you? What of all of us? It could be financial, it could be in any other aspect. And the other time, I remember one of my clients came through to say, do you know that today's jobs, they are demanding more of a master's degree program? And I said, what are you currently holding? He says, an undergrad. And he says, okay, but what would it mean to just invest and come up with your what? With your master's degree program? That means change to somebody's life in his career path. And somebody invested in that, and by the end of the day, completed the master's and could qualify for the post that one took. But then at the same time, change is inevitable. Just imagine somebody is coming to a retirement stage and you're saying, okay, you're going to retire, you have to change from a formal employment to now running your own life out there. Oh, come on. When you are moving to another area of occupation, it calls yet another change in the mindset. Just imagine on retirement. Again, I can give an example. It's very easy to move out from one organization and go into darkness, go into real retirement. They used to call it retirement Mulandigere, but I have since changed and they had this language somewhere along the corridors from those who have since retired. They call it Mujgandimire. Or when you eat standing, it means you're not going to retire, only going to redirect your efforts to something else. And that has meant a lot. So in terms of strategies, one, you now need to break down the actionable steps to say, if I am to retire, what does it mean? Number one, I have to process all the papers required, the NASA papers, the insurance papers, and have that mindset to say, yes, I can go and do something out there and be more productive than what I was doing, especially if blessed and in good health. Oh, that's something else. That's transformation at its high level to now say. But take note, retirement can equally be a killing experience for some people if not careful. So that change may cause, the statistics from NASA, they say, it's very easy for somebody to retire today. He brings the papers to them, and the next year, the same time, you may not necessarily be able to submit those papers on your own. You may find your wife, your spouse, submitting the same papers. So in other words, you need to identify to identify the barriers that can cause you or cause failure into the next phase of life, and to manage that change, managing that those managing those barriers that can easily come through. Barriers on retirement can easily be, all of a sudden there is no salary that you used to earn. All of a sudden you are earning a zig. All those things now, how do you manage it? You must be prepared for that phase, and make sure while you are still at work, you invest on 1, 2, 3 things that you can pick and move on. And at the same time, build on accountability. You need to now to say, okay, I need to be accountable to somebody. If you have a registered company, put your board in place, put your team in place, so that by the end of the day, you can account for what you are doing. And you need the growth mindset. Though, a fixed mindset is almost directing you to failure. But if you have a growth mindset, then you're able to adapt to situations as they come. And of course, take note, there is a need to take consistent action every now and then as you go. Day by day, do something about what you want to achieve. And in the process, I know it will be difficult. I know it's difficult to move from one step to the other, but that level of commitment will see you where you want to be. And whatever little progress that you make, celebrate. Even if it means going and having a Coke alone, or with your team, or as a company, or as your family, that celebration goes a long way. As we move, please take note, change must be intentional. Change brings or comes along with commitment, comes along with what? With a growth mindset, the right mindset to see you achieve what you want. And now, if we are to commit and to bring out meaningful, holistic transformation, you really need to commit yourself to move in a manner that will see you achieve your desired results. On that note, I want to refer you to our social media platforms, whereby you like, you subscribe, and be part of us. Thank you.